And look, YouTube, welcome back to a new video with Fan YT. We are here with a live watch along, the second one of this weekend. Well, it's now the end of the weekend, isn't it? It's Monday Night Football. It's Doncaster Rovers versus Crystal Palace. Doncaster Rovers in the fourth round, being the lowest team ranked left in the competition. They are at the Keep Moat Stadium. I'm going to quickly rattle through the lineups for about 3 minutes before kickoff. Doncaster Rovers playing a 4-2-3-1 with Sharman Low in goal. A back four of Sterry, Olowu, Anderson, and Maxwell. Two holding midfielders of Broadbent and Bailey. And then going up on the wings, we've got Molyneux and Ennis as the playing slightly deep is Billy Sharp, feeding into Street. For Crystal Palace, they've got Turner in goal. We're playing a 3-4-2-1 with Mark Gay, Lacroix, and Richards as the three in defence. Midfield for Tyreek Mitchell, Will Hughes, Adam Wharton, Munoz. Then there's two behind Mateta with Devaney and Kamada. And on the bench, for Doncaster Rovers, got Lawler, Joe Sabara, Gibson, Nixon, Joe Ironside, Kelly, Senior, Westbrook, and Crew. Palace got Dean Henderson, Jefferson Lerma, Franca, Nathaniel Klein, Romain Esse, Ben Chilwell, Matthews, and Kapora. This is going to be a very exciting game. If you leave your predictions in the live chat, we are only 2 minutes away from kickoff here. Just notable ones to pick out in that lineup. We've got Billy Sharp, obviously very prolific during his spell at Sheffield United, known as a high standard player at championship level for many years, and I'm sure he's still got it in him with Doncaster here. They'll be looking for him to be the player to manage to get them a winner. Adam Wharton, who is recently breaking onto the England side, is a key name for Palace in this one. Also got Guehi, established now English international. Mitchell, solid player, as is Mateta, and Will Hughes, who I still remember playing for Derby. And yeah, so I don't think it's the weakest squad. It is slightly weakened by Palace. And it is Palace to kick off this game. They are going to the screen's left. No. Doncaster going to the left, Palace to the right of the screen. Huge day in the history of Doncaster Rovers. Can they get to the fifth round? We saw an upset yesterday in Plymouth getting past Liverpool. There's Brighton has also got past Chelsea, and Villa's got past Tottenham. And we've kicked off here in this FA Cup game. The furthest that Doncaster have got in the FA Cup is let me just check. Can't find it obviously here. Furthest Doncaster made it. So Doncaster have got an interesting history in the FA Cup. Must be said that they've been for a third round a couple of times, and but haven't really progressed beyond that in their history. I can't feasibly see. I think if they progress here, I think they have been to the fourth round before. They played against Blackpool season, but I don't think they've ever been to the fifth round that I can see easily. So that would be a huge result. We will go over actually the. I think the draw's been made. for the FA Cup. So we'll see the results of the interesting games that have been matched on this. So far at the moment, in terms of the game wise, it has just been a bit long balls. But yeah, I'd be interested to see the draw because it will actually be my fresh reaction because I've not actually seen it yet, which should certainly be interesting. So 18-19 was they did make the FA Cup fifth round, and ironically, during that season, the team they played in the fifth round and got knocked out by was Crystal Palace, no less. Yeah, slow build up from the back by Palace, very much similar to Liverpool in terms of how they're going about this in yesterday's match, but they're doing back three as well. I'll be fascinated to see Doncaster on the press. With Billy Sharp, I'm sure that they'll be trying to utilise as many assets as possible. They're trying to release a forward attack here, Palace, and they have still got the ball. They couldn't quite make the most of it with Munoz going down, and instead they decided to retake possession back defensively. Pump down long field for Palace here. Can't get past the first defender. Quite a lot of height and physicality in Doncaster, who is a team which is currently doing very well in League Two. They're in an automatic promotion race themselves. Crystal Palace, looking at the other end of the table, they're probably going to finish around about that 14th place mark, I would imagine. I don't think they're in any real danger of being relegated at this stage of the season. So a cheeky cup run would be nice for them. A nice yellow goalkeeper kit for Doncaster Rovers as he launches the goal kick downfield. Sharman low, that is. It's a combative midfield at the moment, and Palace will be driving forward in numbers, quite predictably so, to be honest. But yeah, just content to keep possession of the ball at the moment. It's come to Richards in the defence. Yeah, short one touch, two touch passes by Palace here. If you ever watched Palace play before, you know that they are often tend to be quite a positive team on the ball, try and make things happen. And they'll be trying to do the same today. This is why I think Doncaster need to get the ball off the ground and into the target men up front, because the biggest attributes that Palace do have is their across the floor passing style. So yeah, certainly could feasibly see a result here today. Do let me know your predictions. I think it could be an interesting one. I reckon Palace will probably get past on this one, as they are in the midfield and it's cleared, hefty clearance always for goalkeeper for Doncaster Rovers. But there's already 3 players for Doncaster Rovers I can see there who are all pressing quite high, for pressing forward in 3s and 4s. They have got a front 4 in a sense, well, front 3 behind Billy Sharp. Behind Street rather, with Billy Sharp in behind. They're certainly a team which I think you did love their pressing in numbers. Can they get undone by a attack like this? And Palace do come forward. They've got a marching forward space with Kamada, and he's gone out wide. He's passed it infield here. Let's come back to Kamada. It's trying to find a way central. They're all back in numbers defending, headed away by Doncaster, and can now come away. But no, Palace are yet again coming forward. It's one of them things. I think that's gone out for a set piece. Out of possession, I imagine Doncaster will be pressing, but have at least a solid, probably 6 players in defensive positions. These defensive midfielders, I don't think, will be moving much forward. And yeah, I think there may have been a foul in the build-up there to, I think it's Tyrone Mitchell. So it might be Devaney. Can't quite tell. Long throw-in, rather, is seeming to be the option. This will be taken by Richards. Trying to find a potential target. It's gone into the penalty area and headed away. The second ball has come. Yeah, not much I can do. Sterry, I think it was, with the header for Doncaster, and it's gone out for another throw-in. I mean, we're going to probably launch this into the mixture again. It's in a good position here. Headed away again. I think that time by Olowu. For a third throw-in in almost exact same position in about the last minute. Very interesting, this one. I imagine we're going to be going longer. It seems to be their technique. They have got a long throw on them. This one's slightly better. It's Doncaster have just sliced that clear. Ultimately, I can see a very similar setup from the one that Plymouth made. Will Hughes with a cross in, and it's punched away by the goalkeeper. That's risky play, that, by Sharman Lowe. But Doncaster have managed to clear it out at the moment. It was tall and commanding, but I always like to prefer to see fans, players, goalkeepers catching it. The only empty seats in this ground seem to be a few in the corner, which I think is where the away fans are sitting. Shock horror. So a bit too physical on Will Hughes there, by Street. Obviously, he's a centre forward, so not naturally used to tackling. Will Hughes looking increasingly older now than when he was at Derby and come bursting onto the scene. My first idol player, went to my junior school and taught by the same teacher that I had in year 5. Genuine bloke from the time that I met him, although I was quite young at the time. Fortunately, he doesn't regularly start for Palace, normally a bench warmer, but good seeing getting a start here, and he could provide. He certainly got the attributes to make something happen. Standing over this free kick is Hughes, and he's whipped that in, and it is not properly dealt with, and I think that has just gone out for a goal kick. It was a bit of a tight position there. I think it was Molyneux who was coming back to do the marshalling of a defence there. Yeah, I don't think. Oh no, it was Street doing his defensive duties yet again. I mean, he has been doing a lot at the moment. Is Anderson in the defence? A lot of man marking at the moment. Strong tackle there. That is a foul conceded again by Street. He's looking like he's going to be doing a bit of these needless tackles at the moment. Yeah, Palace have just passed it back to their goalkeeper. Turner this time. Well, I believe an academy player. Dean Henderson, I think, is usually their starting player. So I don't know if it's his debut, but certainly all eyes on Turner will be, well, can he make himself big and strong for this game? And it's a shot by Doncaster. It's gone straight to the goalkeeper. It didn't look like challenging Turner at all, to be honest. So it's not really worth mentioning that much. But he's done it regardless. Just trying to see in terms of he's definitely not their starting goalkeeper. Turner, Matt Turner, the American. He's made 2 appearances in the Premier League. Not even in Premier League, sorry, in cup competitions. One in the FA Cup and one in the EFL Cup. So yeah, he is definitely the backup, but he is apparently the United States of America's international goalkeeper, having made 49 appearances for them. He is on loan from Nottingham Forest for this season. I mean, they've had an interesting transfer window. I think they've only brought in one person of Romain Esse for £12 million from Millwall in January, and haven't got rid of any players. So, I mean, Ben Chilwell is actually been loaned in as well on the 3rd of February on transfer deadline day as well from Chelsea. Coming forward now, Ben Chilwell is on the bench, presumably being rested for this weekend's action coming up. Yeah, Sterry, you've done a decent job in defence right now. He is someone who's closing down, doing quite well as a right back. I'm pretty certain Doncaster's manager Grant McCann will be happy with what he's seeing to begin with. Probably with a bit more pressure. This is just looking at the replay of the shot there, and didn't really challenge by Street, I believe it was, who has the shot in the end. It's gone straight to the goalkeeper. Gonna make him work a bit harder in them positions. Albeit, I think it's the first shot properly, convincingly on target. It's in the midfield and a kick down, and Doncaster are again attacking in threes and fours here. They've gone into the penalty area. It's got a cross in. He's headed clear fairly convincingly there, and it's just cleared out by, I think that was Richards. Sterry is going to take a throw in here for Doncaster, roughly in line, just beyond, about in line with the edge of a circle in Crystal Palace's half. Long throw potentially. He's opted to not go. He's gone a bit of a mid throw. Bit of a battle, and it's been hoofed up again, but that's offside for Doncaster there. And it looked iffy. I think it was Billy Sharp who was caught in an offside position. So yeah, chance for Palace to relieve the pressure a bit. They've come under a bit of sustain for the last couple of minutes. I think they're managing it well. They've not had too much difficulty challenging the goalkeeper, but this pressing as a 4 by Doncaster is certainly could cause problems for Crystal Palace this game. I don't think they quite envisaged the attack. Very solid pressing by Broadbent there, but hasn't made the most out of it. When you've got this many options, they're quite a defensive team normally, Palace, because of and try and play out from the back as they're doing today. There's several players throughout the past few years you can think of at Palace, and all of them are notable tending to be sort of dragging the ball out from the back and stuff. It's a cross in here by Palace, and that is a good solid block by Anderson there. Much needed block to go behind for a corner, because there was a bursting forward of Adam Wharton, I think it was, who was getting into the penalty area there. So yeah, solid block in the end. Was it Adam Wharton, or was it? I think that might be Devaney actually. Will Hughes to take this corner. Very, very interesting. I think this, I can't tell quite. Okay, it's gone in. Straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. Was never challenging there. Time to relieve a bit of pressure for Doncaster. He's rolled this out short, and they're going to build out from the back here for Doncaster. And Doncaster have actually just opted to go long. I was going to say that'd be a bit of a risky play. So with Billy Sharp, I thought maybe Ennis it was, couldn't quite keep hold of it, and Palace are now coming forwards. But Doncaster put a good tackle in and have now cleared it. Couldn't control with a chest adequately there, Billy Sharp. Looking at the moment, it's just looking a bit safe at the midfield, and they're just slowly progressing. Palace. As for Glasgow style players, hopefully it's a more success than Liverpool managed to do in their FA Cup game yesterday. They are passing on as a team, and that has gone out for a throw in, but a bit of a collision of players, and as we're going in, has seen Ennis go down, looking injured there. It's looking a bad one actually. I don't know if it'll be potentially coming off, because he has managed to get the ball cleanly, the number 12 for Palace of Munoz, but he did leave a bit afterwards on Ennis, and it does look a bit of an awkward one. He looks in quite some significant pain. We have got a lot of injuries in the last live watch along we watched as well. I think Munoz is generally quite sorry about that. I don't think he meant for any pain to be caused in that tackle. I think he's got his eye on the ball squarely there. Yeah, the physios are now attending Ennis. Yeah, he's just. I think it's Ennis has just run into the outstretched leg of Munoz, who has got contact with the ball to begin with. It will just be a bit bruised by the looks of it, I imagine. That's why you have shin pads. But it'll be a bit of a niggling feeling, I imagine. But I would hope he'd be able to get back onto the pitch. But yeah, good chance in the break of play to see. Is there any other games going on today? I'm not sure. I'm going to be releasing my predictions tomorrow. So do tune into that to see how people are going to be performing this week, in my opinion. I think there's only one other game that is on the top, in the top 6 tiers going on, and that's Chelmsford City versus Hampstead, which I think kicked off at 8 o'clock, and that's still 0-0. In terms of in the Scottish Cup, St Mirren v Hearts is also 0-0. Headed by Hughes were back underway here, and they are now pressing forward, opting to go a bit out wide. Palace, they're probably going to be ending up doing that quite a lot, I imagine. That's gone. He's been called back on. The player who's injured now. It'll be very interesting to see where the battles are won in this game. I think Ennis is looking all right now by the looks of it. This is goalkeeper goal kick for Sharman Lowe to take. So I imagine he's going to go quite long with this. Can't see him taking this short. Yep, he's hoofed that down. They've won the first ball there, Doncaster. Haven't managed to get the seconds. Have got the thirds. And then Hughes has kicked behind. It's become a bit of an aerial scrap. Bit too much physicality displayed there from Tyreek Mitchell, and he has conceded a free kick just in his own half. I think Molyneux is taking this one. Either Molyneux or Street. Molyneux or Broadbent. Broadbent is the one who's moving the ball, but that doesn't mean over. They're both over this. Okay, so it's launched in by Broadbent, and he doesn't get past his first man. Poor free kick overall. But he's regained possession nicely. They're now working their way down the wings with Molyneux, who's having a right tussle with Mitchell at the moment. It's gone in field into the he's off. I think that's offside. Playing the offside trap well at the moment. Palace, they've caught Doncaster a couple of times in it. So risky play, I must say that. If you are working yourself out from the back, there's a risk. You got a bit of drumming going along in the Doncaster fan group base at the moment. not a lot for either side to be overly disappointed with. I think Palace fans would probably be marginally disappointed. Just over 20 minutes gone at the moment. So yeah, crossfield on the edge of the penalty area here. I think it's Mitchell. It's on the far side, so it's quite hard to tell whether it's Mitchell or Devaney. Crossed in and headed clear. Very solid header. Again, solid header. It's come down to feet here for Munoz, who I think has been a real bright spark for Palace. I don't know why I keep on mentioning Devaney. I definitely don't think it's Devaney. I think it might be Mateta. I don't know if it's because of positions I've got them the opposite way around. Because I should not be getting confused between them two players. Kicked long. It's going to be a bit too easy for defence to manage to get that, and they have managed to get themselves a throw in from that position. Solid job in defence there. Munoz again ratting around, but it was Maxwell who did well under pressure. Maxwell's the one who's going to be taking this throw in. I think he's planning on going long here. It'd be a pretty wise option. Claims for it to have gone out, but and yes, they have. It has been. It wasn't a very good throw in the end, and it's now going to be a Palace throw. Ultimately, could have done a better job, and this will be Munoz to throw this in. At the moment, it's looking like it could really go either way. Well, that's a poor throw. Well, the person who was meant to be receiving that throw didn't do a great job at getting his body in the right position. But Palace have still come away with it. Facing a flat back four, bit of an orthodox and two defensive midfielders, they're going to be struggling to get through. Because at the moment, the defence, like Plymouth yesterday, has not put a foot wrong so far. Solid playing at the back at the moment, because Doncaster haven't really managed to properly threaten in them situations, but neither of Palace. And Will Hughes is coming forward, looking for the through ball, but a bit too easy for Sharman Lowe to get onto that. Just didn't quite have the right pass on there, I think. I can see what I was trying to do, but it wasn't really directed at anyone. McCann is urging his team forward for another long goal kick. Well, it's not directly a goal kick, but yeah. Glasner's looking a bit hacked off. You can tell that you're not really getting a rub of a green at the moment. Molyneux comes away with this. And is progressed and just into the third of Palace's defence, though just proves too much, to be honest. Great footwork by Mitchell. It's going across near side by Munoz here. Straight headed away. He couldn't quite find his man from that cross, but it was a good effort. I think you look at this Doncaster squad, and Doncaster hoof it clear with their goalkeeper. At the moment, I don't think they're in too bad of a position. They seem to be weathering a storm quite well. He's just trying to find a player at the moment. Thing is, Crystal Palace are, I think, in quite a lot of danger in this game of losing their plan and ending up resulting to falling into Doncaster's plan, and that can become incredibly scrappy, and that's where Doncaster will come out on top because they're used to playing that. Oliver has done a decent job there in defence so far. I think I mentioned most of the defenders so far, but mentioned all the back four. I can't really pick out one individually as being better than the rest of the moment. They've all done a right solid. They're just content to keep it in midfield and possession at the moment, Palace. This game could last for an eternity by the sounds of it. at the moment. Neither of them much incisive balls forward have really found the right connection and the right pass for that final gilt edge opportunity. As actually just demonstrated there by, I think it was a Wharton pass, and Sterry has just knocked that behind. Devaney struggling to get into the game at the moment. Looked positive on his debut. I think it was last week, or like this season rather. He's a burst onto the scene and has looked positive at the moment. The ground is beginning to already cut up a bit at Doncaster, especially within the penalty area. I have a Keep Promote Stadium. I think that is certainly something that will only aid Doncaster in that about the remaining just under 60 minutes left of this game. Come on, considering adding time, it will probably be just over 60 minutes. Maxwell's hoofed that downfield and he's just put too much on it. He's not found anyone. He's gone straight through to Turner. The number 30 for Crystal Palace, who will roll this one out. It's at the moment not a lot going on. Sort of operating more of a back two way he seems to be doing, moving a bit further forward. I mean, when you're playing against Doncaster, unless they're in possession, you're not really going to need more than a back two. But it is quite interesting how they only have 3 centre-backs in this, with both Munoz and Mitchell moving forward, and that's gone out for a throw-in for Palace. Bit of a needless throw-in to concede there. We've already seen that they do prefer a long throw at Palace. This will be taken by Munoz. It's gone up in the air and headed with conviction by Doncaster. And then they've just kicked it over his head there. And a right tussle. That's what Sharp will do, I believe it is. Or not even Ennis. It's really hard to see because it's all floodlit and not overly obvious numbers, especially when the play's on the opposite side. That has unfortunately been a free kick conceded by Anderson there in quite a dangerous position. The referee's pacing out some stats. Will Hughes has come forward, passed it into Kamada, and Kamada has just been slid into, to be honest. Not a card or booking or anything, but it's definitely a free kick. Bit too far out to be a real challenge, but he's certainly... Would you think this bottom right at the moment? Because they're all trying to... I mean, it's a left swinger by Will Hughes. I imagine it's more likely to try and be a cross. Well, there is 2 players over it. I'm more suspecting it to be Will Hughes. It's not looking a good position for... No, it's the other person who is taking it. Potentially Mitchell. Straight across the ground, a pass, and scrambled and then in. Yeah, that was all just a bit too easy. I think that's Munoz who has scored, who was pointing up to the sky. It's very low across the ground, free kick, drilled hard and low. It's then taken a second pass into Munoz, and Munoz has converted it. It's a well-worked free kick in that position, you've got to admit. It's a solid first pass along the ground, and then it's the first shot, which is bad, but he's in for the tapping rebound. Munoz knows exactly what to do with that situation. It's not so you save it, comes off a bar from Mateta. But yeah, 1-0 up to Palace as Munoz scores an absolute tap-in. It's a great free kick initially by Kamada to find Mateta, who has just hit the post. It always looked like it was going to be a threatening position when they have a set piece in there. And now it's a bit of an uphill battle for Doncaster. Going to have to slightly commit a bit more forward. We've still got time. We've only just played over half an hour in this game, but Munoz will have the advantage. Has taken Palace into the advantage at the moment. Sharp minds are needed by Doncaster now. Keep it at 1-0 until half time. Come out in the second half and we'll see what's happened. The Palace fans are suddenly coming alive, having been a bit quiet so far. Will Hughes is going forward. His distribution has gone out wide at the moment with, I think that's, I'm struggling to see who it was. I think it was Devaney, potentially with that. He's not worked well with it. I think it's one of them things. Devaney is showing his youthful experience at the moment. In this position, it's picked up by Munoz and it's passed in centrally to Devaney, and Devaney's shot is awful, to be honest. I don't think he's going to be looking back on a highlight reel, because I don't think anybody will be wanting to see him. I think he actually conceded a throw in from that, to be honest. But the slow break up, the slow pace around the back is what Palace has done at the moment to great effect. Pushing up and along the wings into midfield. He's whipped in and deep. He can't quite make the first contact there. Mateta, I think it was. Or did it go past Mateta and Mitchell? I can't quite tell. I might need to get my eyes tested, because yeah. I was quite fine with players yesterday. Okay. It's gone into just on the edge of the penalty area with Munoz here. He's gone for the 1-2 and he's not quite worked it out. And Doncaster Rovers have played themselves out here. There's still just a bit of messing around of the back, but it's gone long, but it can't get quite past Richards. That is a bit of it may have been an unintentional foul there by Billy Sharp, but he's just sort of stood his ground. He knows what he's doing there. I think there is a player. He's just stood his ground, and it's he's a nasty, cynical one in that position against LaCroix. Hardly mentioned. He's had a lot of the passes at the moment, but not done much other than that, to be honest. I mean, I suppose we'll never know if that was offside, that goal, but several Doncaster players did try and claim it to be offside. Obviously, no League Two teams have VAR, so there will be no VAR here tonight. Bit of a tussle for Munoz, but it gets cleared by Doncaster, and Doncaster keep on pressing in numbers, and they may make it pay off here. There's a right tussle between LaCroix and Sharp out wide. I mean, that tussle is certainly something. It is a throw-in, which is taken short by Maxwell. Molyneux just trying to find his way into penalty area. Can't quite. He's crowded out there. I can see what Luke Molyneux was trying to do there, but just not quite enough. Solid player, Luke Molyneux, has been around at the League Two level for quite a while. Knows what he's doing. I'm not entirely sure why Street is playing so deep there. It seems to be all over the shop Street at the moment, lunging in. That is a good lunging tackle by Maxwell. Good tackle from the right back, I believe. Or no, sorry, it's left back because it's the way they're facing. It's in with the Sharman low at the moment. Kamada has been a bit unfortunate in this half, to be honest. I've just seen your comment then. Hi, how are you today? Who you want to win? I want Doncaster to win. The edit machine, thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's one of them things that you always back the underdog, don't you? In these occasions, unless it's your own team. So yeah, I am wanting Doncaster to win. Got no affinity sort of with either team, other than Will Hughes being at Palace as a and former Derby player. But other than that, there's not much in it. Would I take Will Hughes back at Derby? It's a question that I have often thought, and I'd say definitely yes. Molyneux's whipped in a corner, by the way, and that's not convincingly cleared by Turner, but the defender has just whacked that clear. I'm not entirely sure. I think he's been called back for something at the moment. But I don't think that was ever convincing by Turner. I'm not convinced by either of the goalkeeper's displays today. Sharman Lowe, I think, should have collected it instead of punching it at one point. But you know what? At the end of the day, it wasn't the worst decision, and there wasn't much he could have done with the goal. Okay, I've just seen a comment from Live on Assist about you should multi-stream on Assist. It's a bit complicated. I'll check out that email that you sent me, but thanks for that. Coming forward for Doncaster, I am watching it live on the BBC Red button at the moment, so you guys may have faster internet connection than me, so be able to see the scores or whatever beforehand. But I'm watching it as it is. If you've got BBC turned on, you probably will be able to see it before you're hearing me, though. I think Doncaster have done an interesting opportunity there. It's just not quite enough by put on Sharp. He is back to goal, and that is what Sharp does best, to be honest. He does do the greatest play with his back to goal, but isn't just quite enough. He is going down when he's made the shot. It's all just a bit too much. We know Billy Sharp is a great player from his many great years playing in the Championship for Sheffield United and the like, but even the wonders of Billy Sharp can't manage it. Doncaster have been on TV several times this FA Cup run, of course. They were up against Kettering Town in the first round, which I watched. We saw Billy Sharp doing quite an excellent performance in this one. And I think, were they on TV again in the second round? Trying to recall, because I tried to watch as many of the FA Cup games as possible. The run to the FA Cup. It was the second round, sorry, Kettering v Doncaster. My mistake. And Julie did a quite good job, yeah. So it was a relatively routine win against a non-league team. It was just about avoiding the upset. So their run has been in the first round, they beat Barrow 1-0 away from home. Then in extra time, they beat Kettering at Kettering's ground. There has just been an injury down, I think it's Mateta. They beat Hull City on penalties, which is a bit of a shock. It's the number 6 who's gone down, so that is not Mateta. That is Guehi. You can't see the numbers when they're lying on their back, but he has now sat up, so I think he's all right. So yeah, in the third round, they beat Hull on penalties at the KCOM, I will always call it. But it is technically the MKM now, but it will always be known as the KCOM. Which is, I think that was a bit of a local rivalry, and I don't think Hull treated the FA Cup with a great deal of respect there. So it's always nice to see Doncaster who've definitely treated it with respect coming so far into this. To be fair, Kettering were a bit unlucky. I think they were the better team on the day from what I've seen. There's a good position for a throw here by Doncaster, actually. They've worked themselves well into this position. They've had a big sustained pressure over the last 5 minutes. We're just over 40 minutes mark. If you want to sync precisely, with 41:39. There you go. Maxwell has got it. He's content to pass back into defence, and they're deciding to recycle possession, which is probably for the best. Surging run forward there, but couldn't quite make the most of it. And now Crystal Palace will hit on the counter. Guehi here into Will Hughes. It's now run all the way back to Lacroix. Yeah, it's sometimes, I get why people like watching these dynamic fast play, but the working out from the back, it does bore me. Having 2 or 3 touches across the back line. I mean, this is why I like non-knee so much. They've played it long now, and the keeper has come all the way out there, and he's now attempted a shot and Doncaster's header flying out. Big 50-50. That was a solid defensive header, much needed by Olowu, because Sharman Lowe came flying out to get that out of his penalty area. And to be honest, I would have just left it for Olowu, to be honest. He seemed to have it covered. Sharman Lowe's then scrambling back. Streets tried to get that. And I think it's Street who's managed to clear the danger, actually. But no, Sharman Lowe isn't giving me 100% confidence. But number 19 implies to me that he's not the first choice goalkeeper. But I can't possibly comment on that one. I mean, why would you be playing your backup goalkeeper in a game like this, though? He's a Teddy Sharman Lowe. He's born in 2003, so he's only a bit older than me, to be honest. He's about 11 months older than me. He's on loan from Chelsea this season. Now, he has made 30 appearances, so he's their first choice goalkeeper. It has gone behind there. I think it was Molyneux with a shot. Should probably stop looking at the stats and actually start looking at the game. Yeah, Molyneux's worked well there, and he's got himself into a really good position. He's dragged it just wide, just to the left of the post. It's a bit unfortunate, but it's worth the shot. Molyneux, I think, has been a real bright spark at the moment. For me, Munoz is certainly the player who I think at the moment is looking for man of the match. But I must say, Molyneux has done a lot going forward for Doncaster, even though that overall performance in defence has been much better, but he's also helped out there. Olowu here, and he's just cleared that down his lines. Street, I don't think that's all a bit scrappy at the moment, and he has conceded a throw in there, Street. I think at the moment, Street has just come out with some very cynical tackles, and I don't think he's done a great job defensively. He's broke up player far too much, and I've not seen much of him going forward either. He is the number 9. Yeah, I mean, he has just absolutely decked while on the floor Adam Wharton. He's definitely a free kick. I don't know why he's protesting that. He was on the ground and he just lifted up and just grabbed Wharton and pulled him down. Will Hughes, and we know how much of a depth threat there on for set pieces. Will Hughes is over it. He's gone and left it on, and it's whipped in and a bit too easy for Sharman Lowe, to be honest. Poor free kick by Kamada. And now Doncaster come away on a counter-attack. Luke Molyneux again coming forward, but there's just a bit too much defensive quality within the team. And Mateta is battling, but he can't get it. And it's again hoofed away by Doncaster. At the moment, it's very interesting to see this style of play. They're all going at the moment, a bit too much being shown in terms of physicality, not enough quality by either side, to be honest. Good pass there by, I believe it's Richards. Strong tackle. Again, I think that's by Street. Yeah, it is. That man's going to be booked at some point. That's on Munoz in that position. There's a fair few of them he's done that. Bit of a dark arts of a football. We're not been in dangerous positions, but that is a poor, poor tackle. He's not even made contact with the ball. He's all gone through both of his legs and just managed to hit him. It's not a great tackle. We have got only 1 minute of stoppage time. I didn't realise actually we had 2 minutes of stoppage time shown, and we are coming very close. Okay, so we'll have this free kick, and then I imagine the referee will blow for half time. And then I'm going to look at the draw because I've not actually yet seen the draw for the next round. Because I think that happened just before this match potentially. Again, we've got Commander, not Commander. Whipped in, and it's all a bit of a mess. That was all a bit of a scramble, and it's gone out. And I think there's another player down injured, this time for Doncaster. He's got back on his feet now, and yeah, it is half time here at the Keepmo, and it is Crystal Palace 1, Doncaster Rovers 0. As ever, we will be looking at the sofa scores first, purely because I want to see what they think of it. I mean, we'll see whether I agree with the assessment that they've been given, but certainly Palace have been the better of the two teams at the moment. Not much between them. Margins, I would say. Both teams have looked exciting going forward, but their defensive attributes have both clearly been where it is, both of their strengths. Doncaster in third in League Two at the moment. As I said, they're in the challenge for the automatic promotion race, and they've had wildly inconsistent season so far. In terms of, well, I wouldn't say wildly inconsistent. They're doing really well, and then they did a horrendous against Chesterfield. So if you are a fan of Doncaster, let me know what happened in that game. Overall, Doncaster ranked 6.48 and Crystal Palace 6.84. To be honest, I think that's a bit of an overall harsh rating for Doncaster. I know they're behind, but they are a League Two team. You can't expect them to be excelling. I mean, they've had spells, so they've definitely not been a discredit. I think that's unfair. Just looking at it, Billy Sharp, who's a man who most people would be expecting to create an opportunity for Doncaster, he's on a 6.0 at the moment and is the worst ranked player on the pitch. I can see why. He's not contributed a lot in front of goalmouth, and he's just not really gotten into the game. He's somebody who's got experience and know-how. The second lowest, to be fair, in the Doncaster squad is a 6.3 for Molyneux. I don't think he's done that bad. He's come with a closest chance to actually scoring today. And I think that maybe a little bit more in front of goal, but I don't think he's been the worst, to be honest. 6.4 for the two defenders, Anderson and Oluwu. I don't know whether that's because of the sloppiness for the free kick. They do tend to get marked down, defenders, if they've even conceded a goal. Even though it was a very well-worked goal, I don't think either of them have put much wrong in defence, actually. 6.5 for Ennis. He's been combative, but at the same time, it's hard to see on that side of the pitch. We'll see a bit more of him in this second half. And a 6.5 for Sterry as well, which he's been good with the through the long balls down the pitch, but and has prevented some crosses coming in. 6.6 for Maxwell, O'Bailey, and Sharman Lowe. Bailey, I've not even realised has been on the pitch. I don't know where he's got the 6.6 from. There's not much of him that I've really picked up on. Sharman Lowe, okay, he's made a couple of questionable decisions in mine. He's not really been punished for. He came out for a double punch, and he came out of his box for trying to clear it, and then just invited needless pressure. Maxwell, yeah, I think he's done a solid job in defence. The best players are joint for Doncaster is Broadbent and Street. Street has been very, very physical, doing a bit of a needle, a bit of a dark arts at the moment in the game. I can see why they like him, but he's not done much going forward. Broadbent has had some good through balls, that must be admitted. For Crystal Palace, we're got the lowest rated players all seem to actually currently be on the left hand side. A 6 point, well, to be fair, 6.6 for Mateta at the moment. He's the second lowest. He hit the post, and that's about as much as you can say. He's been in a right tussle at the moment, to be fair, with the defence, and hasn't really come out on top. Devaney's a 6.5, as I said. He's had some horrendous misses and hasn't really gotten into the game that much. So that much I would agree with in terms of that review. We've got two 6.7s for Tyron Mitchell and Mark Guayi. Yeah, not much has been coming out through that side, and when it hasn't been the bestest of quality at the moment. A 6.8 for Will Hughes, Richards and LaCroix. Richards and LaCroix have just managed to retain possession in the back pretty well. Richards has had a couple of surging forward. He's combined well with Munoz at times. Will Hughes has had some excellent through balls. Not always finding his man, but you can see the endeavour is there. 6.9s for Adam Wharton, Kamada and Turner. Turner hasn't really put a foot wrong, to be honest. Wharton, again, has been controlling in midfield, pushing his team forward. Kamada's had some great set pieces. But the man of the match so far, 7.5, is Munoz. And as I said before I even saw these rankings, he's been my man of the match. He's scored the goal. He's worked really, really hard down that right-hand side. Certainly deserving to be the best player going into this half. Just going to be looking at the FA Cup draw in the 5th round. I believe that is now. But it is certainly going to be an interesting one. Let's get it on the FA website. That'll do. Yeah, I think this draw was made just before this game. The draw. Ooh, huge game is the first one to have been drawn. Preston North End versus Burnley. Lancashire derby, which is actually, ironically, happening this very weekend at Deepdale. That's going to be an interesting one. That's for sure. Aston Villa versus Cardiff City. Cardiff could throw an upset here. I do think there is a percentage chance that Villa do actually win this season. The game we're watching today, whoever wins that, will be at home to Millwall. That'll be interesting if Palace win that, because that Millwall will definitely be up for that one. Manchester United v Fulham. Couldn't really care for that one. Newcastle United are at home to Brighton. Another home tie at St James and Newcastle after they were at home to Bromley. Again, I actually low-key think, other than Manchester City, whichever team wins out of Newcastle or Brighton could potentially win it all, or certainly be a finalist. AFC Bournemouth versus Wolves. I think if Bournemouth get past that one, they're also in a good chance of getting into the final. Manchester City versus Plymouth. Well, we know how much of an upset Plymouth can cause. They've just knocked out Liverpool, and now they could potentially have a chance of knocking out Manchester City. That would be intriguing. Tomorrow's game of Exeter City is Nottingham Forest, which are not watching. If I'm hoping Exeter City get through, but it's an easier tie as well. It's against Ipswich Town. Stop giving ties so they're easy to Forest to get through. That's all I'm saying. I'm sure you all know the results of what happened in the other games. But yeah, it's been an absolute fascinating FA Cup so far. We have had upsets, which is why we love the Cup. We've had home wins. We've had a few also interesting experiences. There's something about Wycombe Wanderers at the moment on BBC. No idea what that's about. Comment down below, what is your tie you are most looking forward to in the FA Cup? If I was to cover the FA Cup game, which one would you be interested in me covering? The broadcast one details are going to be released in due course. It's the first weekend of March is when it will be happening, them games, which I've got a sneaky suspicion I am actually potentially doing something that weekend. I can't remember what. So we may not have any of the games. Yeah. Let me know as well how you anticipate this game ending. I can feasibly see this one ending probably towards Palace. I'm going to be honest. I said at the beginning, if I was being realistic, my head says Palace, my heart says Doncaster. You know, it is one of them things that I think it probably finish as I predicted, 2-0 to Crystal Palace. I reckon we'll get a second one in the second half, and then they'll probably put some of the youth on and just see the game out from there, to be honest. Yeah, they're showing some 6th round tie, Wickham versus Leicester, which is FA Cup heritage as such, but not sure what the real relevance is between either of these teams in this game. Do let me know why the PBC have decided to do this for their halftime break. Absolutely fascinated by if they're going to make any changes at halftime as well. I'll quickly go through the stats. 3 shots for Doncaster, 5 for Palace, both 2 on target. So they have been roughly equal. Possession-wise, 70% Palace, but that was always a bit expected. 81% pass accuracy. But as I said yesterday with Liverpool, that means absolutely nothing if you're just passing around the back. 8 fouls for Doncaster, 4 fouls for Palace, very much so in that. 1 offside apiece and 1 corner apiece. It's been a bit of a dull lineup first half, to be honest. Only a couple of goal mouth actions. Players who can make a difference for Doncaster. Sabara, interesting one would be Joe Ironside again. Someone I definitely can see Joe Sabara or Jordan Gibson coming on for the remainder of this if they're going to try and push the game. They are both attacking intensive players, so giving them a run out. Jordan Gibson is a winger. 26 appearances so far this season, scored 4 goals in League 2. Joe Sabara, former Brewer, has recently spent the last 4 years at Solihull Moors, where in 132 appearances he scored 34 goals. He's had 15 appearances so far this season. But we must be honest that it is realistic with Joe Sabara, I think, if they need to start controlling the midfield, although I think they're doing an all right job in that regard at the moment. So Sabara probably not. I could feasibly see the substitution I could see happening is Billy Sharp coming off. He does need a rest. I don't know who they would necessarily replace Billy Sharp with in this lineup, because they're already made replacement for that. I'm not as sure on that regard. Who else on the bench could potentially do the work rate of Joe Ironside? I reckon is probably the person who I could see coming on most at the moment. He's been a Doncaster Rovers player since 2023. He's made 77 appearances and scored 24 goals in League 2. That is not a bad outing altogether. He scored 30 goals in 94 appearances in all competitions over the last 2 seasons at Doncaster. He's been almost an ever-present, a really successful League 2 season last season in terms of in the Cups. They went quite deep in that regard. So yeah, I think I could feasibly see Joe Ironside coming on at 31. He's only got a few years left in him. But yeah, that is somebody who I will reckon is most likely come on. I reckon we'll probably give A little bit longer, though, for Billy Sharp. Probably another 10-15 minutes. See if we can get actually involved. Hi, I'm new at Daily CFC Focus. Well, welcome to the channel. I do hope you are enjoying. I imagine that's Chelsea for the Daily CFC Focus. But it could equally be Chesterfield. But thank you for coming along. I hope you are having a good weekend. If you're a Chelsea fan, I imagine not so much, having lost out to Brighton, which I saw this weekend. Brighton, I think, were just a little bit more class. It was a very marginal game. I do reckon Chelsea will probably reach Europe from the end of the season, regardless. And if you're a Chesterfield, but I'm pretty sure you're a Chelsea fan, Chesterfield doing all right this season as well. But yeah, at the moment we've got a load of kids in the Doncaster's fan base. Okay, we're about to kick off here for the second half. Doncaster to kick off in their Ecotricity sponsored red kit, and they are making a sub. Actually, I did sort of predict that was to happen. It's the number 11 is coming on. Street is coming off. Jordan Gibson coming on for Street here. Don't know whether that's a precautionary measure because he's picked up a few tackles now, and whether he'll get a yellow card, and maybe I don't know if he's on a suspension for yellow cards in that regard. He certainly had some needle in him this game so far. So yeah, Doncaster to get us underway, and Olo is already trying to search for a forward pass, which is always positive to see. Goalkeeper's gone long. You've seen the intensity of already up massively in this, flying into the headers. I reckon if they get a good early goal in this second half, the tie is wide open for anyone's taking, which would very much be interesting. We're winning the ball now in midfield as well, Doncaster, which is such a right position to play it in. They're currently on the wings, almost doing a Palace. Oh, and there's also Ennis has come off as well. It was a double substitution. That is for Jack Senior, which I don't actually believe is that old, despite him sounding like he's got a senior name. He is only 28, so he's sort of in his peak career at the moment. He's made 100 league appearances. He's come off 100 league appearances at Vichy with FC Halifax Town this season. Since signed for Doncaster, has made 33 League Two appearances. Yet to have actually scored a goal, which is a little bit concerning because he is meant to be a forward player, not a striker as such. I think he's meant to be a winger, but. So we'll see with this one what progresses with that double change. Certainly the intensity that they have done has massively improved in that regard. Luke Molyneux has just conceded a throw-in, just halting any idea of a counter-attack. Yeah, I've always rated Luke Molyneux ever since he's come to Doncaster, to be fair. I think you just got to look in terms of what he's done. He's versatile. I think that's the thing, and he just beats players and can create and even score. So he's certainly a player that I think is quite a useful player to have. So in the central circle with Molyneux, speaking of the devil, he has distributed that out wide, very wide to be fair. So much so that I can't really see who it is, least of all because they're facing me. But it's with Palace now anyway. Very combative in the midfield battle this second half. They're now coming down on the right-hand flank, Palace. Infield, and that was almost a tap-in there. Was it Devaney with a tap-in and ruin it there? If it is, he's had a very shocking game. It's crossed in there. And if that is Devaney, I'm sorry, but you've got to put your hands up. Yeah, that is Devaney. He should be doing 10 times better. That is a great cross by Mateta, and he's just got to do so much better. This quality of shots that this man has got. I don't like slagging off youngsters too much, but it'll be a good learning experience. At the moment, Mateta has got it. He seems to be playing more wide and Devaney more as a centre forward at the moment. Hence my confusions within the first half, because that's not how it says on my lineup. It is a goal kick. It's going to be hoofed down the pitch as a predictable move, to be honest. Headed up, headed down, and Palace come away with it in midfield. It's a 3v3 at the moment, but several of them players are offside, so I don't think it's going to really be a wise decision to do it out there by Gay, but Gay's got the ball now. Tyrick Mitchell has also just come off for Ben Chilwell. That's not flashed up on my. It's flashed off on this screen, not on that screen of the actual TV. But Ben Chilwell, highly rate that player. Has had a bit of problems with injuries in the past, but I think on his day he's a very good player. So I think that he's looking for the foul there, but he's not got it, the Palace player. And Doncaster are going to come away with it. They've decided to go long, and it's probably not the wisest decision in that position. They've now lost possession again to Mateta. He's playing a bit too deep. Will Hughes coming forward. That's distributed out to Kamada, I think it was. Mateta digging. It's getting deeper and deeper. He's meant to be the one at the front, and he's just... it was actually Gay, and Mateta's got it now, actually, and this is a great opportunity to score, and that is a great save. I think it was a block, actually. Mateta's felt the worst in that clash. It is raining in Doncaster. There's a persistent, heavy drizzle. It's gone straight in by Commander, and he's just sort of... I think that's a good, solid save. That's a sort of like save that I would expect to be like is a difficult save to make by Sharman Lowe, and he has made it. So Doncaster have tried to score at the other end there, and Luke Molyneux, it was just a poor, tame shot in the end. But I mean, we may as well attempt, I suppose. But it had no power on it. It's just gone straight off a defender. It wasn't really anything. It's a throw-in, though, for Doncaster. Roughly in line with a penalty. Actually, no, halfway between penalty area and the centre circle. Not a bad position to be. They look like they're going to be attempting for a long throw at this point. Let's see. They're whipping it deep. Header down by the number 2, and it's a great block by Gay. Yet again, Steer is up there. No, Sterry rather. But he's steering play. And that's a great cross, but he can't quite find his man. I don't know who that was, but that was a fantastic cross. Potentially was Billy Sharp, actually, trying to find his forward. It's been headed out wide. And it's just looking at that replay. It's just unfortunately doesn't find anyone. But yeah, Crystal Palace having a spell of defensive work to do at the moment because they have to defend a corner. Or is it? I think it might be a long throw by Sterry. Can't be offside directly from a throw-in, which is one of them things. But they're content to throw it short here. Sterry has drilled a cross in, and that is a poor trying attempt to score on the turn, unfortunately, for Doncaster. That was Bailey, I think it was, because Sterry's passing, he's got his back to goal, and he's just lashed at that. He probably had more time than he realised. He probably had time for a touch. But that's why he's a midfielder and not a striker, I suppose. Yeah. It's back with Turner, who's that's just gone out for a needless throw-in and just invites more pressure. Bit too much, man. That is the youthful inexperience there. Sterry's going to take this throw-in. I'm imagining a forward run. No, just a lateral one. But Sterry's come away with it again, and he's crossed it across the central midfield. Switching play here. Just a bit too much on that pass, and it gets to the Crystal Palace defence. Trying to just make something happen. They've got a lot in the final third in this second half. They've certainly been the better team coming out of this half time. Oh, and saying that, that's an absolute curse because they've just absolutely given it. And Devaney have now actually just scored a goal. He has just dinked it over the keeper, and he's finally gotten a goal for what was an unfortunate counter-attack, to be honest. They are now 2-0 up. And probably will cruise for the rest of this game. It's a bit sad. It's against run of play almost for Doncaster. Because it's a wayward pass in the midfield there. And it's just, it's just on the side, but it's a beautifully long direct pass, I think by Will Hughes. And it is just, at that point, Will Hughes does a long, good, stinking pass, and it has just found Devaney, and he's just chipped the goalkeeper. Beautifully worked goal. That is why they are in the Premier League, and Doncaster is in League Two, because that sort of perfectly weighted pass by Hughes is what he does. And all it takes is for Devaney to just get a foot on it and steer it past the goalkeeper. And he manages to get it over and into the goal. Do Devaney a load of confidence that because he's been searching this game, and some of his goals, his chances have been so wayward. But it's worth it once you get a goal, isn't it? So this is actually the other side of play, because we've just had the replays. There's actually now a corner for Doncaster. I'm not sure how it's entirely happened. No, I assume that they were attacking intensely from the kickoff. This looks like it's going to be an outswinger. It's sort of a bit of both. It's not well dealt with at all. And on the volley, and that was an optimistic chance to save the least by Broadbent. Absolutely lashed of that on the volley, and it's gone absolutely flying. He saw in glory and has instead ended up with the ball ending up in the crowd. I think at the moment, Glasgow is actually the team is wanting more and more defence. But they're coming forward, but Doncaster still, I don't think they've done bad in defence. They have been teared open just by good quality passes at the moment. This is chased back by Gay, who's just safely knocked it back to Sharman low. Back out to Gueye, who's going to try and beat his man. Number 17, Bailey's got the ball. It's gone out. Sterry has done a great job to force Gay out to make a throw in there. It's gone to Olowu, and all the way back to Anderson and back to the keeper, who is now playing very, very high. This sweeperness, not sure what the type of team in League Two is using a sweeper keeper, but clearly Doncaster are. Suppose at this point it's just damage limitations. Actually, I think that's being unfair, but I think if you're 2-0 down, you've got to be a lot more attacking in intent. Olowu has just squared it across to Anderson, who chooses it to go to the wing back, who I believe is Maxwell. The subs haven't really gotten into this at the moment. Both Gibson and Senior haven't really done much, and neither is Chilwell. I've never really seen where he is. I can see him on the near side here, but I can't really see him getting on the ball. It is a throw-in for Palace. I think they're opting to play Chilwell as a left midfielder as opposed to a left back. So that's an interesting choice. Will Hughes has got it in midfield. And it's gone to Gahey. I think, is this Chilwell now? Yeah. Chilwell's receive the ball now. He's running infield. He's ratting all over the place, and there's just a bit too much of a pull on that on Kamada by Sterry with his man ponytail. Looking a bit like Andy Carroll in some ways with his haircut. Will Hughes will be taking this free kick. And it's just move the ball a yard forward. Great. Happens at all levels of the pyramid, clearly. And he's been told to move it back to where it was actually before. Because he had moved that at least a solid 2 yards. Will Hughes to take. It goes far and headed clear. Can't get past the first man. And now they're going to try and work themselves out of play. What's not out of play? Out of upfield. Can't quite manage it. And it's in the central circle with Gahey. They've lost out here, and now Molyneux has got the ball in midfield. He's trying to find. There's an opportunity. There's a shot, and he should really be doing better in that opportunity, Billy Sharp. They have now changed their formation, by the way, Doncaster, to a 4-4-2. So Sharman Losel in goal, Sterry, Oluwu, Anderson, and Maxwell as a solid back four. In the midfield of Molyneux, Bailey, Broadbent, and the brought on senior with Gibson and Sharp as the front two. We'll see if that formation change creates more opportunities. But yeah, yet again, Molyneux showing his versatility as he drops a bit further back. There's another couple of subs coming on here for Crystal Palace this time. Oh no, one's for Doncaster. That is... So coming off for... I think there's both teams making it. Coming off for Palace is Devaney. Coming on is... So there's both... SA's coming on. Romain SA is coming on for Devaney. Can't quite tell who the other person is who is coming on and off, but I think it is a double substitution. Because Devaney obviously scored the second goal. He's been taken off. It's Adam Wharton is coming off for the Colombian international Jefferson Lerma. And I think Doncaster are equally making a change. Billy Sharp is coming off. I mean, adding a bit of a disappointing evening altogether. He's been replaced by Joe Ironside, which is a move that I sort of suspected would happen at one point, around about the hour mark at this point. I think they get 5 subs because it's the FA Cup proper. So that's something. Into penalty area, and there's just no conviction. He's back-heeled that, and he probably should have better shooting Molyneux. That's the thing. They've been getting into some good positions at this second half, Doncaster, but they have been struggling, to say the least, in terms of to actually have that gilt-edged final chance. Cut downfield by Turner. And it's headed on, and Mateta's but there's no one there because Mateta's meant to be the person who's on the end of them balls and not the person who's the one who's trying to pass it into someone. This is what is a confusing thing. If he's meant to be the target man, he's meant to be the person who's being targeted. He's not meant to like help him out if you're going to do a second striker sort of thing. Anyway, it's back in the defence of Crystal Palace here. We're just content to pass it around now because we've passed over the hour mark, and we're going to be beginning to be... the people who've had tired legs will probably have been taken off, but it's just about that final vision when it comes into the last half an hour, because the whole game can turn on its head, still very much so. The goalkeeper for Doncaster has got him now. This is incredibly risky play because they are having to deal with a high press, but they have managed to work their way into midfield. Goes out wide to Sterry at the moment, who has impressed me at this game. Sterry to Molyneux. Molyneux might be a good idea. I would have crossed that then. He's just done a bit too much. He's still ratting to try and get the ball back from being dispossessed. And there's a long cross-field ball for Palace to chase, and it has managed to get that. Munoz, who probably will get man of the match during this game, certainly has had some great endeavours. He's been a bit quieter this second half, but certainly with a goal and the work rate that he has displayed so far. I'm looking at Palace and seeing just that is... It was a close on rushing attack by Kamada, I think it was, who potentially could have got me in it. There's a massive egg on the head of Sterry, so he's clearly had some sort of bump. Because you know when you bang your head and you end up with a massive bump on it, and he's got one right above his eye. In the defensive area for Palace, and they are getting pushed. There's at least 6 players pushing. Will Hughes working his way out from the press. Hooked long field, I think, by Lerma there. Yeah, bit of defensive play at the moment. That substitution for Adam Wharton coming off. Because I think... Although Lerma is an interesting one, he can sort of play in any position across that midfield and occasionally cover in defence. Hooked very far downfield by the goalkeeper. That's an excellent first header. Can't unfortunately find anyone else. Oluwu's got it down to feet. Bailey's coming forward. Oluwu pressing forward. Molyneux has got 2 people defending him. There's not a lot he can do, so he manages to... Well, he gets it. He unfortunately gets it out, and I think that's a silly decision to make there. Ben Chilwell to take this throw. Good to see him back, raving and fit again. It's just not quite the same as he was before. Foul throw, possibly, in that position there. I'm not entirely sure what happened. It just looks like a bit more sort of less urgent. Oh, it's a long throw there by Palace, but well dealt with by Oluwu. And Sterry, I think that is doing a fantastic job as a midfielder. Jefferson Lerma ratting in around there. They managed to get a free kick. I didn't quite see what it was. Sterry and Molyneux over it. It's just outside the centre circle in the half of Palace. Yeah, Sterry has run away. Molyneux to take this. Being brutally honest, I think it's too far out to really make the most of it. He's darted down. Can't quite get it past Richards. And Palace break. That was a very important preventing from a break of play. I think that was Broadbent which managed it. Thrown down into the defensive positions of Palace. Yet again, just content to see it out with a forward 2 now instead of a forward 4. The press becomes less vigorous. But they've managed to pick it up. And they've gone into the penalty area here. First time cross, a bit too deep, and the goalkeeper has managed to get that. Doncaster are complaining for something, but I'm not quite seeing what it was, to be honest. don't think Turner's done anything overly wrong. Turner's just rolled this out to his defender. Certainly, the press for Doncaster have done has to no end been an interesting one. It's just, unfortunately, they haven't managed to make proper good connection. Will Hughes, cross-field pass, hefty pace here by who is the player who is there? Who's replaced Mitchell? I think it might be Essay in that position. Lerma. It's content to keep you in the midfield. It's got Will Hughes at the moment going into Guehi. They're progressing forward as a team. Everybody is pushing. They just can't get a touch in. That's the issue at the moment for Palace to deal with. Ben Chilwell's had a few touches, but he's not really been that instrumental since coming on. They've been fairly safe passes altogether. Jefferson Lerma's just been bundled into the back of, completely off the ball by Bailey there. It's not a great tackle, I'm not going to lie. He just gets absolutely shoved in the back. I mean, arguably play advantage. I didn't see anything coming from it. It was in the centre circle, and the Palace player did get it. I think that is Bailey coming off. I don't know. It's Broadbent's coming off for fairly young-looking Kelly. At this point, Patrick Kelly. Good experience. There's about 20 minutes left here of this game, so get a final sort of few minutes, 20 minutes. He's 20 years old, Northern Ireland under 19 international on loan from West Ham. Has made 19 appearances in the league this season, 26 overall in all competitions. Only scored 2 goals, but yeah, be a good opportunity for him. I think that is fair to say. Thanks for 3 likes, everyone. That is hugely appreciated. Doncaster have it just in the Palace half. And it's a switching of play for someone. Sterry's managed to get it. He's had to run back for that switch. He's crossed it forward. But Palace going away. Sterry's going to need to do something here, and he's not quite managed it. That's just Chilwell now. It's done a great cross there. That is what Chilwell does. Chilwell does do crosses like that. But Palace do not maintain the pressure. And Doncaster managed to deal with that. And I mean, I'm struggling to see where Doncaster are actually going to be able to score here at the moment. They have gone forward, but none of their chances forward have really been properly capitalising opportunities, to be honest. Slumped forward by Lerma, but he hasn't found his man, which I think they're looking for Mateta. Doncaster try the opposite and has gone all the way through to the goalkeeper. Yeah, I'm going to be brutally honest. Not ideal. Must say that both Kamada and Mateta both doing a bit better. The assist by Will Hughes, by the way, that must be mentioned at the end of this. But Doncaster are coming forward again. That is a tough tackle. And I think that's Jefferson Lerma. Oh, no, it's not. For testing your innocence, I think it's Essay, who was with Millwall at the beginning of this season. During January, he was brought for Palace for how many figures is double figures of $1 million. I think it's about $12 million in total. So yeah, Essay's just put a bit of physicality in there. Certainly someone who will be exciting to see how they adapt to Premier League life. I certainly think they can do. They're a very good ball-playing defender. Come midfielder, it's a sort of wing-back sort of role. So free kick for Doncaster. They're whipping it in. That's way too far. It's gone past everyone and gone for a goal kick. Yeah, not a great one. To be brutally honest, should have been doing much better with that. You got to at least find someone, even if you don't manage to score it. The nervous faces of the Palace fans who are thinking that you're just looking with each wave of pressure, and it just takes one goal and the whole game switches on its head. So they won't be wanting that. It's gone out for a throw though for Palace. I think Palace fans are arguably even more nervous ones than the Doncaster ones at the moment, because Doncaster will be the ones who create the upset if they win here today, which is looking less and less likely. They've won it in midfield here. I don't think they've been bad credit, Doncaster, not going to lie. They've been exuberant, to say the least. It has gone long in an attempt to try and find one of the two forward players, which was neither of them was started a match as forward players, Ironside and Gibson. There's a shot, and that is close from Doncaster. Couldn't have been a fantastic goal by Molineux. He is slightly unfortunate not to have scored that there. Almost made amends for his free kick earlier, because that is an interesting shot. He was dinking low. It was a couple of yards out. He probably nestled into that top corner, which just unfortunately gone over. So he's not managed to make Turner to make a save. And I think that would have been a difficult one to save regardless. I don't think we would have gotten to that if it was on target. Into the final 15 minutes, we go. Hoofed downfield by the goalkeeper. There's no one there, and it's just going to be picked up by Richards in the defence and passed back to Turner. Turner equally going long. This is where things become a bit more risky, because the team who prefers to play long is Doncaster, and it suits their style of play much better, where they will press you and hit you on the counter-attacks. It's been a good night out for Doncaster fans. They'll probably remember it for quite a while. Palace just seem to have their number. It was the last time they reached the only time they reached the fifth round, from what I can tell. They got knocked out by Palace in 2018-19, and it seems history is repeating itself here in the fourth round. Palace come away with it here. Hooped downfield by Palace. That's a poor defensive work there. Recovered well. I believe it is. Was it Anderson? I think was initially missed the header completely. So I had to make sure that he didn't concede by working back double the efforts. Out wide it goes. Chilwell, Mateta, Lerma, into Gay, Will Hughes, to Gay, back to Hughes. All just a bit passing it around the midfield at the moment. LaCroix, they've opted for the switch. They've managed to get to Richards. Just one touch passing, and it just seems so effective at times. Hook downfield, just a bit too much on for it was that Chilwell attempting to get there? May well have been. Was it Chilwell? Actually, I think it was Kamada, both with long black hair. Slightly too much, I think, on there of a tackle by Munoz. I think it might be a free kick by Doncaster, although it could well be a throw-in. It's a free kick. 10 yards, lad. Yep, that's it. It's taken short. Immediately passed. Back we are 1-2. With a Doncaster goalkeeper. Grant McCann being a bit nervous at the moment. I would imagine. Probably more focusing on the league now. They've had a good cup run. Getting promoted will put the icing on the cake for this season, which they're in a pole position to do. Let's not mess around. Sterry passing it onto Molineux. And that's gone out for a throw-in for Doncaster. It's in the central circle, very much near the very centre of a kick-off pitch, part of the pitch. Doncaster have had some bright spells, just not really managed to work the goalkeeper. And that's where their problems lie. A little bit more on target, and they could have definitely got into this game. It's gone out for another throw-in for Doncaster. Got to be attacking in this one, I've got to say. It's opted for Sterry to throw. He's surveying his options. There's not much. He has to find his target, though, which is at the centre forward. Is that Gibson? Potentially Gibson. It might also be Ironside. I can't quite tell. It's gone out for another throw for Doncaster. This one in line with the penalty area. This Sterry has opted not to take it and going back to do his defensive duties in Kesvi. Oh no, Sterry's coming off, sorry, for Nixon. Nixon is coming on. And it's the fifth and final substitution by Doncaster unless it goes to extra time. Sterry has been bright today. There's a lot of solid defensive work and a lot of wing work as well. So we'll see how Nixon copes as the replacement. Solid squad. I'm looking at Doncaster. I think they'll do a great job this season in League Two for the remainder of it. Yep. Mateta holding up the ball but losing out there. He's got a good, solid build to him, Mateta. You can see why he'd be a bit of a target man. We've got 10 minutes remaining of ordinary time. Is this too much for Doncaster? Do they dare to dream? It's gone for a corner. What a better opportunity to score than here, you know. I mean, a lot of players going forward. Molyneux will be inevitably taking it. Be really interested to see who gets on the end of this. Whipped in. That's a good, solid corner. It comes back out to Molyneux. Second time cross is going to be key. He's running past his man. He's crossing it in there. Header down on the ricochet. He still got it. And that is a great save by Turner. And I think that is possibly the best chance that Doncaster have had this game. It's a bit scrappy. I think it's Bailey, the club captain, who has attempted to try and poke that home. He's done the first time, he's done the second time, and he's done even better on the second time. And it is just saved by Turner because it's not properly dealt with on the first shot by Hughes. But the second one is comfortable for the Palace goalkeeper. It's all the way back now with Doncaster's keeper, and I don't know how that happened. Surging forward at the moment. Doncaster working with a solid 4-4-2 at the moment. I think that's a decent formation to employ at this moment of time. There's just something very quaintly English and FA Cup-like with a 4-4-2, isn't there? Into the defensive half for Doncaster and back to the goalkeeper, Sharman Lowe, who's pumped it downfield, got the first header on, needs to be dealt with effectively here because he is getting closed down at Gahey, and he has opted to push that out for a throw in. There's now 2 balls on the pitch. Great. So that'll be a drop ball situation. Bailey crosses it in midfield to Anderson. Down Maxwell goes. Oh, it's cagey. It's just a bit too much on the back there, and I think that's going for a free kick He's just been shoved up in the back, the Doncaster player there. They decided to take it quickly, but defensively. So, odd decision, that one. But long downfield by Sharman Low. And that should be, it's a Palace throw-in. I was going to say, that should have been a Doncaster throw-in, but clearly I've not managed to. I could have sworn it came off a Palace player because there was two surrounding the Doncaster player. I think Glasgow will probably be wanting a bit more defence and targeted with their attacks now, because you've got to close the game out, not let Doncaster have a sniff or a hope. There's a bit of wasting time going on at the moment by the looks of it. It's the number 21 is on the floor, just holding the ball out to play, which is Romain Esse. Grant McCann is not happy with the time wasting at all. Romain Esse Ben Chilwell will take the throw. There's literally a coach standing in front of him, so I couldn't quite tell. This is Romain Esse now coming into the penalty area. That's potentially offside. It doesn't matter. It is cleared. Headed on by Molyneux, headed back by Hughes. Good solid header there. Now they can come in numbers and break forth. This is a good chance for a counter-attack. Crossed in deep. Headed away by Richards and hoofed up. That's a poor defensive work there by Anderson. It's well dealt with in the end by his partner, Maxwell. Down on the floor, I think it is a foul. Has just happened there. I think it's Esse on the floor. It was looked a right handful at times during this game. It might be a head injury. They've both gone for the ball, actually, but he has gone up with his arm out. Number 23, Jack Senior. He's gone up sort of like that, and so he's just sort of caught him on the elbow, as I say. So yeah, a little nasty one, but at the same time, it is what it is. Still down on the floor, I say. He is conscious. He's communicative. He's probably just stealing a bit of stars at the moment, you know. Yeah, we're approaching. We just passed the 5 minutes remaining of ordinary time mark. There will be some stoppage time, probably around about 6-7 minutes at this moment in time. Purely on the basis that there's just been quite a lot of stoppages this second half. But the longer this player stays down, the more stoppage time there'll be. And I mean, let's just talk briefly about how that first goal, the two goals that we've had so far. We've had Hughes' wonderful dink for Devaney to score, and Munoz having that beautiful free set piece workplace. I certainly think Will Hughes actually I think I'd still give it to Munoz at the moment, but I do think Will Hughes certainly deserves credit and potential man of the match for me. I think he's done a lot of good work in this game. He's set up two beautiful goals, especially that lofted pass for the second. More than made up for some of his mistakes that he has made. Olowu with a ball in the Crystal Palace half. Molyneux here doesn't get enough on it. It's a throw-in still for Doncaster, though. Olowu very far forward for a centre-back. I think they've gone back to playing a back three almost by the looks of it in attack. Anderson hoofs it down. But Hughes comes away with it and kicks it downfield. You need to be careful there, Anderson, because Mateta is strong in the air. A bit of physicality there, and you don't mind to see that. Certainly not by Patrick Kelly. I've not really mentioned much this game after coming on. working the way forward. They're coming in numbers. Mateta might get on the end of this. Coming out sliding at the moment is the goalkeeper. He can thank his defenders for that, because he has come out Sharman low for not the first time this game and caused all sorts of grief. But his three centre backs had it covered, because it was a bit of a tame shot. Any shot with conviction there could have well been goal. He's pumped that downfield. Molyneux doesn't quite get that. That will be a Crystal Palace throw-in. Ben Chilwell is soon to take. This is a substitution for Crystal Palace. Munoz coming off for presumably a standing ovation, I would imagine. And he is being replaced by Caleb Kapora. I've never heard of a name Caleb Kapora before, so my imagination is saying that he's an academy lad. He was born in 2006. He's only 18. And yeah, he's from the academy. He's made 2 Premier League appearances so far this season and a further one in the EFL Cup. He made his debut at home against Fulham. It's a clearly highly rated player. That's a relatively straightforward save by Sharman Low, who opts to roll it out this time as we approach the final 30 seconds of ordinary time. But we'll probably still get around about 6-7 minutes. Will Hughes has been opted to be player of the match by the BBC. And you know what? I agree. I would say he has been a solid player for me. His passes have been perfect. There's been a couple of wayward ones, but mostly on the money. 4 minutes stoppage time. Yeah, you can't blame Will Hughes for wanting to go to the Premier League. And you know what? Hopefully that means he gets a bit more of a sustained spell during Palace's running from here on in, because he isn't the main player that they use in midfield. I think he proved himself today that he certainly can be in contention for it. I mean, he's only made 4 Premier League. Sorry, 21 Premier Leagues. Oh no, so maybe he is one of the main players. Maybe I was wrong about that. There was a few seasons ago, I know that he wasn't the starting one. 2021-22, he wasn't really the starting one. Same with 2022-23. Was a very regular person with Derby in the Championship. Apart from 2015-16 when he had a horrendous injury, which very much limited his game time. But he did make 187 appearances in all competitions for Derby, scoring 12 goals. Yeah, not long left at this game here. Palace will probably just be content to see this out. A lot of people leaving the stadium now. Content that there'll probably not be much further action, to be honest. Don't blame them. It's not been a running game. There is another substitution, I believe, going on right now. Kamada is coming off for Palace, and Franca, Mateus Franca is coming on. Just a bit of time wasting at that point, isn't it? Again, I think another academy player potentially, Mateus Franca. For some reason, got a French-sounding name, but from Brazil. Actually, he's originally from Flamengo, but he is only 20 years old, so still youthful. Good solid header in the midfield there by Doncaster. I had not been in disgrace today. That's offside anyway. So yeah. But no, I think Doncaster for a League Two side can hold their hands up high and say, you know what, we did a solid job here. We did lose, but it wasn't the worst performance. And that's at the end of the day. sometimes you don't win football matches, especially when the teams that you're up against are so much better in quality than you. Hooped downfield by Turner. Just can't find his man. He's gone out for a throw for Palace after a header out by probably Maxwell. So that's all the substitutions both teams have made. The 5 sub things definitely confuses me to this day. A crossing deep and Chilwell might win that foot race, and he does. He gets it to Lerma. In the box is going. Well, he just can't quite get into the box to be honest, like make it count. Can Lerma, but he was attempting something there. There is technically only 2 seconds left. So we're about to have the final whistle here. Probably as soon as this goal kick is taken. Yeah. Unfortunately, Doncaster not stopped supporting the team till the end, to be honest. It is looking distinctively more empty, though, now. The whole site. Yeah, that's it. That is full time here at the Keep Moat Stadium. We will quickly go over all the players, reviewing their stats, because there was a very positive late surge from Doncaster in the final sort of between, I don't know, can't quite tell, but it was certainly in that last sort of 20-ish minutes. They definitely had their chances. Okay, well, Crystal Palace are through. They're up against Millwall in the next one, which I think is very much a local rivalry. I do think Palace view Millwall as their rivals, because there isn't really any other massive South London football clubs other than in that area of the country, other than Palace themselves. So let's see the ratings, shall we? A fantastic 7.01 overall for Palace, a 6.71 from Doncaster, not disgraceful, I don't think. We will, as ever, start with the lowest rated players for Doncaster. We'll address the substitutes later, but Billy Sharp and Anderson on both on 6.3. I think Anderson has slightly been shafted for some of the concedings of the goals in terms of that. Billy Sharp, yeah, he never really got into the game. He just didn't make any opportunity really count, to be honest. And they were definitely relying on him. Then Ennis on a 6.5, as well as Molyneux. I think Molyneux was probably slightly better than Ennis in terms of the wingers. I think Molyneux was a bit hit and miss, though. I think that was the thing. Some of the things he did was great, but some of it was far from it. A 6.7 for Sharman Lowe, who can't be blamed for any of the goals directly, but I don't think looked comfortable several of the times that he was actually. He came out and did some absolutely ridiculous things, to be honest, during that half, especially. I think he went out a couple of times out of his penalty area and had to bail out his centre backs, ask his centre backs to bail him out. Sterry got a 6.7. I think there was some decent work he was doing going forward. Defensively, all right in spells. But yeah, 6.7 Street. Just a lot of needless tackles. I don't think he actually did that much in the end, no. 6.8 for Broadbent. Yeah, I think he had some good through balls. Just couldn't really make him count. 6.9 for Maxwell, who was a definitely good defensive, actually bombing down that wing. Time after time, he would be working well on that wing. 7.3 for Oluwu, who was a standout defender and a defender who actually didn't mind coming out of his defensive duties and helping in the attacking third as well. And apparently the player of the match, according to SofaScore, is a 7.7 for Bailey. I'm not seeing it entirely. I think he did a couple of good moves, but I don't see how he was player of the match. Far from it. I'm more inclined to agree with the BBC here and give it to Will Hughes, who is having his post-match interview as we speak. On terms of the bench, 6.4 for both Kelly and Nixon. Never really got into the game once they came on. They're still quite young, so they've got a lot to learn. 6.6 for Jack Senior. Again, didn't get much on. Same 6.7 for Gibson and 6.8 for Ironside. None of the subs really had the desired impact. They worked well as a team, but yeah. Onto the Palace team. Their worst outfielders to begin with the match was actually Devaney and Mitchell. Yeah, Mitchell wasn't really in the game at all, hence why he was taken off. Devaney had several crucial misses, to be honest. And yes, he scored the goal, but it was ultimately a fairly easy goal to score after that wonderful assist by Will Hughes, who did the main body of the work for it. A 7.0 for LaCroix. I don't think he really did much wrong. He had a lot of passing. He didn't put much of a foot wrong, but he didn't really get challenged much in terms of his centre-back duties in the first place. He was also a 7.0 for Adam Wharton, who got taken off. He didn't do as much as I would have entirely expected, but he wasn't bad. A 7.2 for Kamada, who had a good set piece. I think it was one of his set piece which resulted in a goal. Richards on a 7.2. I think he was immense going up and down on the right back. And Gay was 7.2, same on the left back position. The wing backs that they had certainly posed to be a danger. 7.3 for Mateta, who can certainly be said that he had some good strong hold-up play, but not quite enough to be able to score a goal on his own. He did hit the post, and the rebound was followed up by Munoz. A 7.5, no, 7.4 rather for Will Hughes, who I actually think was man at match. I think he certainly deserves the 7.6, to be honest. I think he's been a very solid player. He got the assist with a lovely, long, well-weighted pass. And yes, he wasn't the most consistent, but there were definitely times it was a very decent player. 7.5 for Turner in goal. He made the saves when he needed to make the saves. That's sort of what you got to do as a goalkeeper. 7.6 for Munoz. Scored a goal and was a right thorn in the side while he was on the pitch. If he didn't come off for Palace, he would have probably been my man of the match, actually. And then the substitutes that they made, Kapoor and Franco didn't have long enough to really get a rating. Essay on a 6.4. Was a bit moany at times, let's say, and a bit of a wasting of time things, but by the time he came on, he wasn't really needed for the position he was in. And he had a couple of surges into the box, but Ben Chilwell and Jefferson are both on a 6.7, much more aggressive in their play and actually making things happen compared to the former Millwall player. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Let me know your reactions down in the comment section below. Got the predictions coming out tomorrow. Just to mention, probably while I've been recording this, Derby County probably signed John Eustace as manager. If not, that is imminent, apparently. Because 4 hours ago, John Eustace was said on the BBC to set to take over, and apparently he'd, according to something I was looking at, not about just before recording, he had been bought out of his contract. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you are new around here, rather, do subscribe. Be hugely appreciated. But for now, goodbye for now.